Directed by Aaron Snyder and written by Tom Hanks himself, Greyhound tells the story of an US Navy captain that is set to lead an Allied convoy being stalked by Nazi U-boat wolfpacks. The main criticism that I have towards this film is that it's way too short for its premise, but at the same time being this brief serves to quite small details with an emotional weight that a 3-hour film would probably lose throughout the runtime if executed in the same pace of this one. I say this because most people will look at this film and probably walk away unsatisfied because of how repetitive its events are and how dull the story might feel. This is a movie that follows the steps of countless movies made before in a more interesting way, with writing that story-wise feels way more complete. But sure isn't bad, I liked this one. I just wish they did more with the characters, the story, and pushed the runtime a bit more with better pacing. It sure has decent writing, with a lot of small foreshadowed meanings that are there but could have been better showcased. I mentioned before that it has a lot of repetitive events, and I was referring to the action sequences in general. There's a lot to love here, and there's a lot that I was a bit disappointed, but it got me thinking. What made my jaw drop was the tension felt at the beginning. I was speechless, just anticipating something to explode out of nowhere. The desperation felt by the characters while trying to deal with the enemy stalking them, the soldier voice on the radio making fun of them, the sublime and really well made scenes where they have to be coordinated to execute tasks towards the potential attack. I was terrified because of the subtle anxiety that these situations provided. It gets repetitive after a while because of the lack of variety towards the last act. It became more of the same throughout the whole film. But as I said before, it got me thinking, in reality, variety isn't something that back in the day soldiers had. In war, especially in the middle of the sea, in these scenarios, events would always be the same. So that's where this movie has its core, at least in my perspective. The acting is on point, but the lack of character development is a bit of a problem. I wish there were more moments to know the characters and feel for them. There's a side story with the main character, but nothing stands out. Visually speaking, the CGI isn't the best thing in the world, but decent. There are some crisp visuals, the cinematography is great too, and the score helped a lot in providing emotion that the story itself didn't. Because of the number of previous films with the same theme, perhaps this movie is forgettable for a lot of people, but I respect its premise despite the flaws that I pointed out. I'll give Greyhound a solid 7 out of 10. That's it guys, let me know your thoughts on this one. If you like my content, subscribe for more in the future. See you guys.